Hi, I'm just going to talk a little bit and play some music. Music I like, and obviously I like to talk too sometimes. So I'm going to put on one of my favorite groups. I like this group. I liked it when I was a kid, and I like it now as an adult. The Cars, obviously. And I like the Cars. They were a group that I listened to back in high school. So I'm going to dance a little bit to this. But I have many fond memories of listening to this group and just hanging out during my high school days. Obviously, high school is a long time ago, but I still can remember back then. I haven't lost my memory yet. I guess I'm still young enough that I can say that. But yeah, my favorite groups back then, I liked the Cars. One of the songs from the Cars that I always like to listen to is My Best Friend's Girl. And I just thought they were a cool group. I thought the lead singer was pretty good, and Rick Ocasek. And I also liked Benjamin Orr. Sadly, he died. And he was a great singer as well. I think it was those two that were really the singers of the group. And they all played a mean guitar also. It was a great band. I always had aspirations to be a rock star, but not in my fate. I had to go to school and do the traditional thing. I went for engineering, mechanical engineering, which was a pretty good challenge for me. I also enjoyed that, and I studied hard. I went for mechanical because when I was a kid, I used to like to watch my dad build things out of balsa wood. He worked in construction. He was an iron worker, and he was very talented as an artist, and I would watch him. He was so good in what he did. He used to build models with balsa wood. He would build model airplanes. One of his favorite role models was Charles Lindbergh, who flew to Paris. He was the first pilot to navigate the transatlantic flight. First flight successful. And I think he did it in like 33 hours and landed in Paris, France, in Le Bourget Airport. So I remember watching that movie with my dad when I was a kid. And I kind of liked it. I actually went out and bought the movie too. It's a great movie to watch. And I'll like to watch that with my son too. Continue that. But yeah, this band was one of my favorites, and I think it's good to be nostalgic, to listen to music, and it brings you back to a place that you remember fondly. And I was not a popular kid in high school. I was pretty shy, plus I was dealing with transgender issues, so I think that put me more so into that shyness category. And but I had a good rapport, good relationships with some of my fellow classmates. I was very shy with girls, obviously, because I couldn't relate in a way. I mean, I could relate in many ways, but dating was hard for me because of my transgender issues and because I liked to wear the girls' clothes. But I think we all have our struggles in high school. I mean, who doesn't? High school's not the most fun place to be, but it was a learning ground for me. Good training ground for when I went further with college. Here's a nice song too. I just hope that these songs won't violate my video making, because I like to dance and I like music, and how can you do a video without music? How can you dance with no music? So I hope YouTube is considerate of that. And I like to dance and do exercise, and I think I lost another couple of pounds, down to about 149. Well, my weight hovers, but at my highest weight I was 180, which was a nightmare because I have a small frame. I'm about 5'6", so 180 is overweight in my book. So I met a doctor friend who I do some work for. He's a nice guy, and he put me on a Paleo Diet, which is really good. the main thing about that diet is you lose weight because you're not eating carbs, and it really works. Because I would say in a month and a half I lost about 30 pounds, so I'm down to 150 now, but it hovers. Like yesterday I was 148, today I'm 149, so I'm like at that 150 pound mark, and I would ideally like to get down to 140 pounds, and you'd think if I could get to 140 and maintain that, then that would be great for me. Plus, as I'm transitioning, I think the lighter I am, the better I am, and also I can fit into a smaller dress size. So I'm motivated to get to a ideal weight and keep the weight off. And what better than dance to keep the weight off? Plus I have fun doing it, and it's a good outlet after a stressful day at work. We all need an outlet, and I would suggest anybody who's trying to lose weight, if they're serious about it, seek doctors' orders. Go to a doctor that you trust and tell them that you're interested in losing weight, and see if they're familiar with the Paleo Diet. If not, then do a Google search for it. It's very easy to find, and you'll be amazed how easy it is to lose the weight. I used to struggle trying to lose weight by thinking if I did exercise, but it's not exercise as much as just retraining yourself to eat differently. You have to eat a certain way, you have to be conscientious about it, and you have to be devoted to the diet. For me, it's not just a temporary diet. This, to me, is now a lifestyle diet. I'm going to be dieting like this for the rest of my life. The only drawback is you eliminate a lot of things that you like. So, some of the things that I like that I can't eat, and I'm an Italian and Irish. My background, my mom was Irish, and my dad was Italian. Pasta's one of my favorites. And I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to eliminate pasta out of my diet? And that's a struggle for me, because I love lasagna, I love manigat, however you say it. I never could say it the right way. I love this song too. I love spaghetti and meatballs, I mean, all that good stuff. So I'm kind of like, what do I do? And is there a good substitute for spaghetti? Doctor told me like a zucchini squash you can make into like a substitute spaghetti. So I'm gonna try that. But it's amazing. I'm like feeling great. I feel good. I'm happier than I ever been. And I'm healthy. I used to have asthma, chasing after my son. My son is very spontaneous, and on occasion he would just like run off on me, and I would have a hard time keeping up with him. Now I can keep up with him, and more so. So I'm noticing a lot of changes with the diet too. And I don't know if the loss of weight is a combination of the diet, which I believe it's mostly the diet, but I'm also on female hormones, so I think that in conjunction with the diet is kind of helping me. I haven't really noticed any changes, but you know, it's over time. It's a gradual process, and I probably won't experience much change until another 2 years or so that go by. But it's exciting. It's like a new direction in my life. You know, I'm 51. I figure if I'm lucky I have another 15 to 20 years in my lifetime. Certainly I want to see my son do all that we want him to do. My wife and I want to see him go to school, further his education, go on to college. You know, all the things that parents want, you want for your child. You know, that's one of my biggest concerns, is that my son will be fine and he'll do okay. You know, plus I want to be a good role model to him. I mean, I'm not a perfect person, but I am a good person. I have a good heart. And I also write a lot about my feelings, and I express them, and I think that helps me to stay true to who I am and to be confident in what I'm doing. And I feel very good about what I'm doing, because to me it's better than taking my life, which I had considered many times. I was so down, depressed, and that's not the answer. I mean, I did a work and dedication to my parents, both who I lost tragically. I'm not saying that my mother died intentionally, but she lost her will to live, and that was quite devastating to me. I was a young man at that time, and I didn't know how to handle her death. You know, it was not expected. I mean, it was expected, but in a way it wasn't expected, if you know what I mean. But it was a difficult time for me to deal with that. And I had to see a therapist over it. It really got me thinking about life and all. Back then I was dealing with transgender. I mean, I've been dealing with transgender since I was 4 years old. So if anybody wants to talk about that, I'm here to talk to. You can always get in touch with me. I have a lot of accessibility. I have Facebook, I have YouTube, I have a blog, I have a website dedicated to autism. So I'm here. I mean, if I can help somebody, I gladly will reach out. You can reach out to me. I can share my experiences, because I'm going through this. It's not an easy thing. I have a family I love. I have people in my life, friends I love. I have work responsibilities that I'm very dedicated and devoted to, and I have coworkers and employer personnel and staff that I care about. So to me, you know, this is a struggle, but to me, I have no choice. I mean, what do? Do I continue in a way where I'm miserable and sad all the time? Or do I finally take charge in my life and do what I have to do? And it came to that point. I had no choice. So I'm not going to make excuses. I'm not going to say that what I'm doing is the answer for everybody. But I know in my heart it's the answer for me. And it just happens to be one of the hardest routes to take. But I do have a support system that I would say is very good for me and necessary. And I do have people that care about me. I am a good person. Plus I care about many people in my life. Obviously, I have a family that I care about. I have good friends, and just want to do the right thing. So that's why I feel it's good to talk and to just get out the things that are on my mind. I can't change that, but we all want to be strong in our life and deal with problems and handle them and move on. So in a way, that's what I'm doing. I'm handling my problem, and I'm doing it the way as I see fit. Not everyone will be in agreement with it, but for me, like I said, it's the only choice for me. So anyway, I'm getting off topic a little bit, but I just want to emphasize the point that if anybody sees my video and they identify in any way, I'm here to talk. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a professional, but I can speak from experience, and I would certainly like to write a book about my experience, my life, and dealing with transgender, dealing with suicide in the family, dealing with autism in the family. You know, I have a lot of things that I can write about and share with people, and hopefully that will help others too. You know, I write for a way to help myself, but and then my son too, and all. But also, if I can help somebody, that would be great too. I mean, we all want to do something in life that is important and that we're remembered for, and I think it's a good thing to make yourself available and try to help somebody who identifies with you. And since you've been there, you can kind of give them insight and kind of help them, even though you can't give them answers. You can kind of share experiences, and I think that's very good and very important. So anyway, so I'm kind of jumping around, and that's just me. I go from one topic to another, but I'm kind of trying to remember what I was talking about before. But anyway, I think one of the things that we as parents want to do in our life is be nurturing and supportive of our children. You know, when you have a child, then you want to provide them a good life and teach them right from wrong and be a good role model. You know, you go through a lot of things. I mean, I go through many emotions. I'm not, like I said, I don't have a perfect way about myself. But I have a good heart. I'm very well intentioned. And I know that my son is a great kid. And he deserves a lot of love and support and understanding and guidance. And I'm here to teach him and to help him. And I try to go back to my childhood and what it was like for me. But when I think about it, I struggled a lot in my childhood and I felt alone a lot and I was very depressed. So it's hard to relate because that was me and I don't like to see that with my son. I want to see him happy. So, I mean, I can speak from that kind of experience and that kind of pain I felt. But, I mean, I had a good upbringing. My parents loved me and they were good to me and they did a great job and they helped me all throughout my life. So in that sense, I was very fortunate. But I was very secretive and I couldn't tell people much about my inner struggles. And I grew up in a time where this wasn't understood and it wasn't accepted. And I think we've come a ways because today I think kids are more open about it. And I think it's good. I think it's very good if they're young enough and they can express what's going on with them, because that means they're going to get help at an earlier age and they won't have to go through a life of pain and misery, which I have. I've had to struggle with this for a long time, and I tell you, it's not a picnic. I mean, when you feel like you are definitely something different but you can't tell a soul about it, then you just let it sit within you, and it's not good. I mean, what good is that? When you just let it just sit and, I don't know, that's a very sad and awful way to live life. So we want to be happy, you know? You want to have a good life and do the things in life that you want to be a full person, to live a good and full life. So that's why I think it's important that you talk. Anybody who goes through, whether you're transgender, whether you're gay, whether you are extremely shy and you don't know how to talk to people, or if you're on the autistic spectrum, or you have a drug addiction, it's very important that you talk and you get the help you need. You need to speak to a guidance counselor in school. You need to see a therapist. You need to talk to your parents or seek out counsel from a priest. I think it's very important that you do so, because it's not healthy if you just keep it inside and you never tell anybody. It's not a good thing. And I think even a friend is good to find. Confide in a friend. Talk to somebody. Just don't feel like you have to deal with it all by yourself, because that's not a healthy way to live. And you'll find you'll be very shy about it, and pain. It'll be a lot of pain for you. And believe me, I know what I'm talking about because I went through it myself. So I would suggest that, and I'm talking to people out there who view my videos because I care and I want to help somebody. And you know, it's something that I feel very passionate about. That's why I write. I write a blog too, and you know, I'm trying to put a book together and gonna see how to start the process. But I have a good starting point, because actually, when you write a blog, you write a lot about personal things, and I think the blog is a good starting point. I could obviously sit maybe with some book publisher or some literary agent. I'm new to that whole concept of speaking to an outside party, but I think I can contribute something, and I think writing is healthy. I have a favorite writer that I like to read books on, and I'm sure you've heard of Mitch Albom, and one of the books I read of his was Tuesdays with Maury, which I highly recommend. I think it's a great book to read about life and how you can see how great your life was. And despite you getting older and being sick and going through the difficulties that we all will encounter as we age, if your mind is sharp and you have a good attitude, you can get through most anything. And I think that relationship between Mitch and his teacher from way back, when they reunited years later, based on him seeing a TV show, and then he met with him on a regular basis, I think it's a great story. And he related it well, and you became a part of that. And I think that's a talent, that somebody can do that, to write and to bring people in and feel as if they're part of that. I mean, that's a true gift. And I think that I write, but I'm not considered a writer, because I only convey my thoughts and my feelings and emotions. But to me, it's an expressive form of art. I mean, my dad was an artist. I wish I could draw and I could build from scratch, but I'm maybe geared in a different direction. Plus, we try to live up to the expectations of our parents and try to make them proud and do things similar to what they did, because we emulate them and we want to be similar in our own way. So I think that's something that we all strive to do. Certainly I want my son to strive to do his very best and to find things that he likes and to express himself. You know, I don't think I want him to feel obligated to write or obligated to do things that I like. When I was a kid, I liked baseball, and I kind of wanted to see him play baseball, so we got him involved in a league this summer, which was fun because we liked it and he liked it, so it was a good thing, and it was worthwhile, and I think that life is good that way. So, we want him to benefit from that, and we want him to be satisfied in his life. And I think if we can put things out there for him and get him involved, and he's in camp, which is a good thing, so we think that that's a good direction for him. And once we get him situated with school, where he'll be going to a new school, we'll be happy about that.